So let's talk about love. We know there are different kinds of love, right? There are 4 or 5 different kinds, the way the church describes them. In Bhakti Yoga, they talk about the various kinds of love. But we know there's familial love, there's erotic love, there's brotherly love, there's all different kinds of love, right? So you probably have heard me say this before, but I have a working definition of love. And when I say working definition, it's something that you don't have to take as true. I'm not saying this that you have to agree with me on this, but it works and it helps me see into this action of love more deeply. I call it connection. And by connection, it's almost like, in the movie Avatar, the blue people on the moon, Pandora, they would greet each other by saying, "I see you." That was the first thing they did. And it's very similar to when Hindus say Namaste, which means the God in me recognizes the God in you. So that's really a deliberate, intentional pulling aside the veil, pulling down the filters to really look and see the person, a direct connection from soul to soul, self to self. I'm going to refer to another movie here. Karate Kid. Miyagi is teaching his little smartass protege, and Daniel, he looks away, and Miyagi really gets in his face and he says, "Look eyes, always look eyes." Remember that? You do not want to break your connection with the person. See, because that's like an outer manifestation of an inner reality. Because when we look away, that's when we're dismissing the other person. We're minimizing them as a person, as a present reality in our lives when we look away. So it's really referring to an inner, staying focused on the person without filters, without judgment, but just really being present with them to see not only who they are, what they are, but especially in that kind of a situation where you're actually in a battle or in a fight with a person, you want to know what they're going to do next, right? And that's an extraordinary advantage. And even if we're not talking about like, an extreme situation like that, when we're with each other and we can get into that frame of mind where we're looking at what's coming next, you see, that's even a deeper connection because you're actually in the flow with that person's reality. So you're getting in the same boat that they're in, so to speak, and you're going down the same river. You're seeing what they're seeing. This gives you such an insight into the other person where you almost start to become one with them. And that's the literal meaning of eros, is to become one. It's almost like consuming the other person where you become one with them. So this is raising that up a notch and saying, okay, how is the life energy in you moving? What is it doing? Where is it going? And even more important than that, it's how, talking to the other person, how are you seeing me? Because if I can see how you see me, that gives me such an insight into who you are. And it gives me a way to relate because, normally we only see ourselves. We see ourselves and we're in a disagreement with somebody else, with our quote unquote enemy. And we're wondering, why can't they just see what I'm saying, hear what I'm saying? Why can't they just be like me? That's not exactly loving, right? To really love, you have to merge with the other person. You have to see through their eyes, and not just see through their eyes, but feel with their feelings, really get a sense of who they are. This takes practice, of course. You don't want to open up to somebody who's really seriously intending you harm. So you have to have like a shield, but from within that shield, you want to have your eyes wide open, and you want to have to understand where the other person's coming from, how they're seeing you.